A brief programming reminder, up next is Dog vs. Dog, our new public affairs series featuring two stuffed dogs debating the issues people are talking about. Following that, be sure to watch this channel for another video about things Steve thinks are stupid. Clint Eastwood's speech was a failure for one very simple reason. Over a week later, it's still the only part of the Republican convention that anybody is talking about. I feel bad saying mean things about Clint Eastwood. I've watched enough of his movies to know how talented he is as an actor and a director and even a musician. So instead of blaming Clint, I'll blame whoever it was who decided to give him 10 minutes of prime time for that bit. Major party political conventions in the modern era are infomercials for the candidates. We all complain about it, but that's the way it is, so why would you send out such a high-profile speaker to give such an odd speech on the last night of the convention? What did Clint's speech do to sell Mitt Romney? He barely even mentioned Romney. He said, "Maybe we should give somebody else a turn for a while." Not really a ringing endorsement, is it? It's fairly obvious to me what actually went on here. Someone in the party or in the Romney campaign reached out to Clint Eastwood, and in order to convince him to speak at the convention, which is the sort of thing he never does, they promised him a primetime slot and let him do whatever he wanted. They threw their message and their presentation out the window because Clint Eastwood is a cultural icon respected by people of all ages from all across the political spectrum. It makes more sense in theory, and it's not an unexpected move, seeing as how Republicans are such shameless fanboys for the relative handful of celebrities they have on their side. They were hoping for an impressive roar from an old lion. Instead, they got 10 minutes of idiosyncratic stand-up comedy. And if the last 10 years or so of Dennis Miller's career has taught us nothing else, it has taught us that Republicans are not who you turn to for stand-up comedy. Look here, man, that speech was a total success. You want to know why? Clint had them people hanging on every word he said. You think it's easy to talk to an empty chair, on stage, in a room full of a couple thousand uptight Republicans, and have them eating that shit up? Trust me, baby, it ain't. Most of them people don't really feel right laughing at stuff unless they know that it's safe, you know what I'm saying? If it's dirty or sacrilegious or weird, they're always perking their ears up over stuff they think is weird, like jokes that assume they have some personal knowledge of gay people, or foreigners, or other religions, or abstract concepts, or any of that other shit. They get real uncomfortable. I bet most of the people in that convention hall that night hadn't even thought about talking to an invisible person. At least not since the invocation. And even if some of them did think it was weird for Clint to be up there pretending to get cussed at by an invisible Obama, and they wound up talking about that more than the guy they're trying to get elected president, that's still a success, because check out all the other stuff that didn't get talked about last week while everyone was making fun of Clint Eastwood. That black camera woman who had peanuts thrown at her and got called an animal. How full of shit Paul Ryan's speech was. How they totally forgot that George W. Bush and all those guys from 4 years ago ever existed? Clint distracted everybody from all that shit, didn't he? Not to mention, he also got himself 10 minutes of primetime television a few weeks before his new movie comes out. Trouble with the Curve. Clint plays a old baseball scout who's gone blind or something. I don't know, looks like a piece of shit.